Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. Deacon of the Church of Energy Particles on Crit has arrived as a playable EQ. In today's video, we'll take a look at just how useful, or not, Dahlia is with various builds and teams. Dahlia is a simple character. He basically only does 3 things for your account. He provides a solid attack speed buff, he provides a solid shield, and he provides your Venti, who has been a bench warmer for quite a while now, a solid boyfriend to keep him company. Tired of Furina ruining marriages? Well, now you can ruin marriages at a discount thanks to today's sponsor, LD Shop, the world's most trusted Genshin Impact top-up site, saving you around 15% and developed by LD Player Emulator Group. The $100 Primogem package is actually $99.99 in game, but on LD Shop for new users, it's as low as $76.75. As for me, a regular user, I'm buying the 5 $100 Genesis Crystal packages so I can also ruin my marriage, all for my new waifu, Skirk. You don't even need to share your Hoyoverse login credentials, because all you need is your server and Genshin user ID. Then, after creating a one-time use credit card and purchasing it, which took around 2 minutes, I saved $65.56, and delivery was practically instant. And because I spent more than $80 since I'm a filthy whale, I got VIP membership where I redeemed a free Welkin Moon, saving another $4.99 for a total of $70.55 saved. Not only that, but if your first top-up bonuses haven't been activated yet, don't worry, purchasing through LD Shop will still activate those. And users registered using my link will receive 5% and 15% off coupons. Heck, invite some friends for some more 15% off coupons. And now that I'm $70.55 richer, now I can afford a new marriage license for my all-new virtual 2D waifu. Obviously this is a joke, don't worry, I'm still happily married. So what are you waiting for? Smash that link down below to save money on Genshin Impact with today's sponsor, LD Shop. Huge thanks to LD Shop for sponsoring today's video. Starting off, my Dahlia's build consists of the Sacrificial Sword with the 4-piece Noblesse Oblige with energy recharge, HP percent, and HP percent main stats. He's starting off at Constellation 0, although we may need to donate some money to his church and activate his constellations later on in this video. Also, his talents are at 1, 6, and 10, and I don't recommend leveling his burst to 10 as level 9 is plenty enough, but I did it for the content. My Dahlia also crucially has over 40,000 hit points. Let's kick things off as we always do with insert character here who doesn't use basic attacks. Truly some phenomenal damage, terrifying all who defy the will of the Church of Favonius. Although, I gotta admit, his normal attack 4 does have a sick sound effect. Up next, we have his elemental skill, Immersive Ordnance. Low multiverse busting power aside, a true devout Favonius particle worshipper can plop his elemental skill on the ground, where if you stand on it for a bit, it will bounce you up into the air, becoming a Favonius trampoline. Yes, he truly did follow his god Barbados' teachings, as both of them can propel your character into the air via their elemental skills. Jokes aside, this is actually reasonably useful for exploration purposes, especially for those in the early game without magical flying guns and magical flying motorcycles. As for its use in combat, well, on tap he casts it under a nearby enemy where it automatically explodes, applying Hydro and generating 3 Hydro particles. And up next we have his elemental burst, Radiant Psalter. Dahlia's elemental burst is where all the juicy parts of his kit lies. Dahlia creates a unique shield that gives the on-field character an attack speed buff. For every 1000 hit points that Dahlia has, your character gains 0.5% attack speed for a maximum of a 20% attack speed buff when Dahlia has 40,000 HP. As for the shield portion, my current Dahlia's build is at 40,081 hit points, which only absorbs around 3,117 damage at talent level 10. Fortunately, it's far more useful than this would suggest, because Dahlia gains benison stacks, indicated by these little icons around his shield. When the active character hits an enemy 4 times with their normal attacks, or if freeze is activated, where freeze will provide 2 benison stacks once every 8 seconds. In total, Dahlia can generate a maximum of 4 benison stacks during his shield duration. What do these benison stacks do? When his admittingly flimsy shield is busted, a benison stack will be consumed and reapply the shield. Damage that breaks the shield will leak through to deal damage to your character, but if it's a single hit, you will be spared from getting flinched, which is one of the main selling points of a shield. Assuming all 4 stacks of benison stacks, this shield on my Dahlia's build jumps to 15,584 total damage absorbed and 38,961 hydro damage absorbed, since it absorbs hydro damage at 2.5 the efficiency. So yeah, his shield is actually one of the more effective shields in the game given the way that it works. One more tip about his burst is that if the burst itself activates freeze, Dahlia will immediately gain those 2 benison stacks, giving you a solid start to his shield's functionality on a freeze team. And it applies 2 gauges of hydro instead of the typical 1 hydro gauge. Now, one minor drawback is that Dahlia's burst only lasts for 12 seconds at Constellations 3 and below, so for a shield and a buff, this is on the lower end in terms of duration. Fortunately, his Constellation 4 does help address this a bit, which we'll get into later. So yeah, that actually just about covers it for his kit. Dahlia is a very simple character, simply providing a self-refreshing shield and up to 20% attack speed at Constellation 0. Let's take a look at what characters can benefit from Dahlia's kit. The most obvious benefactor from all of Dahlia's shenanigans is Skirk. Skirk can actually doubly benefit from Dahlia, especially free-to-play friendly Skirks. As of now, she can switch over from the Finale of the Deep Sword to the Calamity of Eshu. So not only does Dahlia provide the 20% attack speed buff, he also provides the self-refreshing shield to enable the Calamity of Eshu's passive, and his shield is unlikely to be broken, as that would require at least 6+ medium strength attacks from the enemy to break through. Overall, Dahlia is a great option for free-to-play friendly Skirks, and as we can see, Skirk's damage is significantly improved thanks to the 20% attack speed and 20% attack from the Noblesse Oblige and the Calamity of Eshu. Now, admittingly, the attack speed itself on Skirk doesn't quite seem as crazy as you might expect, and in this specific anecdotal example, only allowed Skirk to squeeze in an extra N3 and N4, which led to about 7% additional multiplier. But that is more so the cherry on top of enabling the Calamity of Eshu. But still, the good stuff for Dahlia with Skirk doesn't actually end there. Dahlia, being a sword user, is a great user of the Freedom Sword with Skirk as well. Able to activate freeze twice with certain rotations and admittingly certain teammates, to provide the Freedom Sword's buff to Skirk. So if you do have this weapon, it is a very solid option with Skirk and on Dahlia. Oh, and Dahlia can use the Peak Patrol song as well. Albeit Dahlia does have very low base defense, you can still use this to provide a non-negligible buff to the team. Now there is another sword character that actually heavily benefits, I guess, from this in a similar way. That character being Ayato. Ayato appreciates everything that Dahlia provides, the attack speed, the shield enabling the Calamity of Eshu, and even Hydro Resonance since he scales a bit off of HP. Granted, going from 15 boba slashes to 18 boba slashes isn't much additional boba, and comparing his damage in a rotation to Skirk's is honestly extremely comical. And my Ayato is at Constellation 6 as well. What can I say? Money well spent. While Dahlia is objectively great for Ayato, this unfortunately doesn't really help Ayato very much in the big picture, but if you are one of the few Kami Boba Ayato stands and mains remaining, leave a comment down below. Another character who appreciates the attack speed buff is none other than Wanderer. Wanderer has the problem of getting slapped around all the time, and well, Dahlia's shield solves this problem. Granted, a character like Furina is much better in terms of team DPS, Dahlia is a nice comfort pick for Wanderer who can definitely make use of the attack speed buff he provides. Conveniently, Wanderer has many attack speed breakpoints, most of them being at various 10% marks, so Dahlia's 20% attack speed buff is pretty much perfect for Wanderer to take advantage of. The last character who I think makes great use of Dahlia is with Wriothesley on a Freeze Escoffier team, as Wriothesley can make use of the attack speed buffs and the shield, but unfortunately, similar to Wanderer, there are better options for Wriothesley, but this is still some reasonable utility considering what Dahlia provides and him being a 4-star character. Now, outside of those characters, most of the others don't really stand out to me, but we do have some options like Yoimiya and Arlecchino, both of which do appreciate the attack speed buff and the shield. An option though like Citlali is leagues ahead thanks to the reactions that she actually enables on top of the shield that she provides. One issue with Dahlia is that he doesn't enable any reactions since he doesn't apply Hydro from off field. Alright, and we have one last Titan of the meta and Destroyer of Worlds, normal attack spamming Chi-Chi. I did try Dahlia with Clorond, and Clorond can indeed use the Calamity of Eshu, but personally I didn't feel very impressed by it. Maybe it's just a little hard to tell what the attack speed does for her, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think about Dahlia plus Clorond. Of course, there are plenty of other characters that can utilize an attack speed buff, ranging from Clorond to Pyro Traveler to Eula to even Razor. But generally speaking, I feel like all of these characters have much better options at most levels of investment. So yeah, that about does it for Dahlia's base Constellation Zero kit. He is a simple lad, simply providing 20% attack speed, and simply providing a solid shield, and simply providing Venti a good time. Being a sword user, he can also adequately use the Freedom Sword, so if you do have those weapons, you can definitely consider using them on Dahlia. Now what about Dahlia's Constellations? Dahlia's Constellation 1 massively improves his energy recharge requirements by effectively providing 10 flat energy for him, enabling him to run an HP % timepiece in certain teams, which means he can run a crit rate circlet, which means he can actually now finally utilize what he preaches, the Favonia's Sword. Next, his Constellation 4 is pretty good because it adds 3 seconds to his burst duration, which even allows him to be used earlier in various rotations. And then we have his Constellation 6, which improves his attack speed buff up to 30%, which is generally another breakpoint for most of the aforementioned characters. And one last little detail about Dahlia is that he's a Hydro character with a burst that does a single instance of damage. This food, because I want the crit rate, Hydro damage thing. Dahlia, Kazuha, Shilinen. Okay. Ooh, that was close. Oh god. Okay. What was that? 4.17 million? I messed up the rotation, but 4.17 million, right? Yep, thanks to the power of the wallet, if we donate a full salary's worth to the Church of White Energy Particles and pray to crit RNGesus, even a little lad with a book can do some comical nuke damage. So yeah, Dahlia's certainly not going to break the meta or shake it to its core. He's really just here to be a decent free-to-play friendly option for Skirk and fanfiction bait for Venti mains. He's also a usable option for other normal attack spamming characters, and honestly, I'm totally fine with his role in the meta. Not every character needs to be the second coming of Bennett, and he actually has a usable free-to-play friendly niche, which cannot be said for a lot of 4-star characters in this game. With our ever-growing roster, this is already a reasonable place in the modern meta in my opinion. Alright, also he enables the Dusty Shield series of weapons, which is something worth mentioning, which is why I guess I just mentioned it, because it's worth mentioning. Anyway, let me know if I missed anything about Dahlia down in the comments below, and let me know what you think about him as well. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Want to Lose, signing out.